Today, I'm going to give you 10 amazing watches you should just buy. Let's get into it! Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector Show. I know there are many of you out there right now sitting on the fence,
waiting to pull that trigger.
So today, my job is to give you a little push. Now, these recommendations have come from me handling these watches, wearing these watches, and coming to the conclusions that they're pretty darn good. And you might say that this could be the ultimate 10 watch collection of all time. From affordable to luxury. And I can't wait to get started. Are you 10 great watches ready? Let's go. If you've got around £100 to spend and want to buy the ultimate iconic Casio watch, I believe in 2024 it's got to be the GWM5610U. GShock was born in 1983 and this 5610 is the watch that is the closest looky-likey to it. Plus, it's way better. In actual fact, I don't know why I'm even going to do the next 9 watches, because if you've got this one, well, you've got a partner for life. But this watch oozes the 80s and yet still looks relevant. This watch is solar powered. It has multi-band 6, meaning it picks a signal up in the night time to make sure that the time is accurate every single day. Therefore, it doesn't lose a single second. And it being a G-Shock, well, it's shock-proof, can take a beating, and can go down watery depths of up to 200 watery meters. If anyone out there asks me, what's the first Casio I should buy? Well, it's this one. And to be fair, once you've bought this one, it sets the bar quite high. Okay, a little more pricey now, but 2024 was the year I realised I need an Omega Speedmaster. A few weeks ago, I was lucky enough to review a 2021 release with the updated bracelet. Previous generations had the watch on a Seamaster looking stainless steel bracelet, and when it was on my wrist, it looked quite chunky. But Omega went back to the 60s and made a bracelet more inspired by that time, and they absolutely nailed it. Now, I've always been a fan of the Speedmaster. It's one of those watches I guess you're meant to own at some point if you're into watches. It's hugely iconic. It's probably the most iconic watch in the world ever. And I guess because it was so obvious that I needed to maybe own it one day, I never thought of owning it. Well, now, crikey, I've been looking on eBay like there's no tomorrow, and BQ Watch's website, because me with my 6.5-inch wrist, I think I can easily pull this watch off now. It's an absolutely stunning watch, and with this latest iteration really honing back to the 1968 Buzz Aldrin Speedy, this could be the very first Omega I ever own. The next one is a huge favourite of the channel and, you know, just me personally, which goes hand in hand. But when I think of Seiko, their history, their innovative designs, their durability, there's one watch that I own that when I put on my wrist, I think to myself, why do I bother wearing any other watch? And we are talking about a reissue of a watch that first came out in the late 60s, the 6105. That was Seiko's first dive watch that had an asymmetrical case, cushion style, big at first sight, but when it goes on the wrist, just fits like a dream. And I am talking about my SPB153. Now, there have been many iterations since I bought mine, some limited, some special edition, different colours. However, any Seiko with that case just epitomizes the brand. And listen, I've owned a lot of Seiko's icons in the past, but none of them do it for me quite like that Willard. The dial is perfect. If you can find one of these on offer and get them for around £900 to £800, well, you've got another friend for life. And trust me, anyone that has bought a Willard, there aren't many that sell them, let me tell you that. Do it! Another Casio you must buy because A, it's an absolute icon, and B, because it's only 30 quid, the CA53W. Yes, the calculator watch that first came out in 1989. Casio have pretty much untouched this watch, and it still looks awesome to my eyeballs as it first did when I bought it with my mum at Argos. Yes, the buttons on the keypad are a little bit fiddly. There's no backlight to this Casio, but this watch hobby is all about having a bit of fun, and this oozes the fun for me. Worn on the wrist of Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future 2, my favourite movie. Just buy this watch.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
So the next one is more of a general one. Limited editions. If you want it, you go out and buy it. There are probably 100 reasons why limited edition watches aren't all they crack up to be. The price of limited edition to regular edition is exorbitant, but if you want it, you get it. I've had a few limited edition watches in my time, and I've reviewed a few I really haven't liked at all. But this hobby is all about buying watches we want. And if you feel like your body and your mind needs a Kith Hoya, or you're absolutely gagging for a Snoopy Moon swatch, you're not going to be able to scratch the itch getting any other watch. Well, it might be a little scratch, and then you might scratch some more, and then you've scratched even harder to leave a big old mark. We know limited edition watches are expensive. We know as a product, as a thing we can hold in our hands, there isn't value for money there, but there is no price what this thing, what the sum of its parts does to our heart. And if I want to get a Casio Tron reissue for 300 and something pounds, I'm gonna buy it. There is an exclusivity to limited editions. Yes, maybe in that Casio Tron that, I don't know, was 5,000 pieces, may not be that limited, but in the whole scheme of the things, you know, there are, what, 5 billion people in the world? It's still pretty limited. Anyway, you see a limited edition you want, you buy it. Another generalization here, micro brands or independent watch brands, don't be scared of wanting to buy one. Too many of you guys out there are a little bit scared of stumbling over the rails in terms of the big brands, your Seikos, your Tissos, your Omegas, your Rolexes, because once you go independent, you feel like you're in a bit of the unknown territory. But what you need to know, yes, you may not have the history and the fact that this watchmaker has been making watches for 100 years, but 9 times out of 10, these watches are made by true watch enthusiasts with a great story of their own. And when you start digging a little deeper in the world of micro brands and independent watchmakers, you realize, wow, there is more to life. Now, if the only reason why you haven't bought a watch from an independent brand yet is because of the money, you know, you think the resale value isn't very good, then to me, you're not buying the watch for the right reason. Of course, no one likes to lose money off a car as soon as you buy it off a forecourt, but if I've looked into the owner, the story behind the brand, the story behind the watch, I get to find all these very intricate and sometimes personal stories that you would never get with the big brands. But there is absolutely no reason why anyone should be scared of a micro brand watch. Do your due diligence, look at reviews, look at recommendations, go to some watch fairs and actually try these watches on yourself. You'll probably be able to meet the actual owners of these brands, and that gives you a connection you just don't get with Seiko. Buy from independents. Now, there have been a lot of people that have asked me, should I buy the SSK 023? This is the Seiko 5 GMT that I reviewed a few weeks ago. And I gotta say, yes, it's a phenomenal watch with a tiny hint of an Explorer 2 with the orange GMT hand and the fixed stainless steel 24-hour bezel, but it's all Seiko, baby. I think it looks phenomenal on the bracelet. That is pretty exclusive to this watch. Lume is phenomenal, as you'd expect, and it is definitely one of my favorite watches of 2024. Buy it! Panerai! Yeah, Panerai. I was scared of you, alright? With your big Italian tabletop looking watches, only to be worn on the wrist of Sly Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger. But thanks to BQ Watches a couple of months ago, I reviewed a Panerai Luminor, pretty much a base model. There are 2 distinctive models, the Luminor, which has this bigger, bulkier case with the unique and original crown protector, and we have the Radiomir, which is more truer to the original watch. Well, let me tell you, for someone with a 6.5-inch wrist, This 45mm watch didn't look silly, and it proved to me I can wear this watch. If you do have average to small size wrists and you'd like to look at a Panerai, take it from me, it'll look great. Now, one Hamilton watch that sticks in my mind all the time is the Khaki Field Expedition. A new watch for Hamilton. I mean, they're no stranger to field watches, but one with a twisty friction compass bezel. This was something a bit different. First of all, I loved the 37mm diameter case and the fact it was 100 meters water resistant, sapphire glass with the H10 Swiss automatic, movement inside with the 80-hour power reserve. Hamilton did a fantastic job in pulling in all those military inspiration vibes, rolling it up into a ball and then slamming it down on the page to form something new, old. New. This is the watch I would recommend to anyone that is interested in buying a Hamilton. Very solid bracelet, great design case, designed for the watch enthusiast. The only thing I was a bit miffed about at the time when I reviewed this watch was the price tag at around £1,000. But listen, thanks to Francis & Gay Jewelers, when you go to their website and you click to buy any Hamilton watch, and if you type this thing in, you will get a significant discount. Now, I'm legally not obliged to tell you what that discount is, but the clue is in the code. And suddenly, the Hamilton Field Expedition becomes a little bit more palatable. My last choice goes to probably my favourite GShock. Not my favourite, that's the DW5040, a limited edition. But this GShock came out in 1985, and it was the first mud-resistant GShock. It's the DW5500. Now, Casio are not making many of these watches anymore, and I'm a little bit worried that these will be discontinued very soon. Now, the watch might look big at first, but it's one of the most comfortable GShocks I've ever had on my wrist. Plus, it's more squarer than the square GShock. Yes, this one has a negative display. This is the only reference you can get of this watch brand new. However, quality and legibility wise, this is the best neg display I own. So there you go, 10 watches to buy right now, all at different price levels. I'd love to know in the comments below which of these watches are your favourites. And in your collection, what is the one watch you think people should have a look at and own? Thank you for watching till the end. You guys are magnificent. Love you all. If you want a bit more of the Mad Watch Collector, click there. But if I've got you for a few more minutes, why don't you click this bad boy? Oh, this is a lovely one. Go on. Click it, it's great. Go on, click it, click it.